Okay, this is the 10-2 worksheet number 2 answer key. Okay, so on this first one here, we're going to go ahead and break this guy down to 4 times 5, and then this will go to 2 times 2. So the 2's pair up and move out, so -5 times 2 is -10, and then I have this 5 left over, so I'm going to have radical 5 on the inside. Again, do not use the 20 and the 4 as you broke those down. Okay, number 2, we're going to go ahead and break down. So I know 3 will go in, so 3 and 25, and then 25 will go to 5 and a 5. Okay, again, just keep in mind that it's okay to use your own numbers, just as long as you're getting the same answer at the end. So 5 and 5 move out, so 3 times 5 is 15. This 3 is left over, so I have a 3 left over. So 15 root 3 is your answer. Okay, number 3. Okay, we're going to go ahead and break down. So like 6 and 8. This will go to 2 and 3. This will go to 2 and 4. And that 4 will break into 2 and 2. So I've got a pair of 2's here and a pair of 2's here. So if I'm thinking about that, 2 times 2 is 4, times 8 would be 32. Now this guy right here is left over, so I have a 3 left over on the inside. Now look at your variables, x squared, there's one pair that move out, y to the 4th, 2 pairs move out. So I got y squared on the outside, and there'll be no variables left on the inside here since they all paired up and moved out. So this will be your final answer. Okay, number 4. All right, so 18 is going to break down to 2 and 9. And then 9 will break to 3 and 3. 3's pair up and move out, so 7 times 3 is 21. I've got the 2 left over on the inside right here. And then your variables, I've got 3 x's, so pair them up, move it out, and I have 1 x left on the inside. Same thing with y to the 3rd. So pair them up and move them out. So I have 1 set of y's on the outside, and I have 1 y right here left over on the inside. And that's your final answer. Number 5. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply my insides, right? So multiply the insides together. So in this case, 6 times 6 is 36, and the square root of 36 is just 6. Number 6 here. Okay, keeping in mind that there is technically a 1 out front here, you're going to multiply your outside numbers and get 3. You're then going to multiply your inside numbers and get 20. All right, and now let's go ahead and break down. So like 4 times 5, 2 times 2. So 2's pair up and move out. So 3 times 2 is 6. And then you have this 5 left over on the inside. Okay, number 7. Again, multiply the outside numbers together, and I'm going to get -15 when I take the 3 times -5. Now, multiply your inside numbers together, and I get the square root of 10. So now when I look at 10 here, this is going to break down to 2 and 5. Nothing will pair up and move out, so this is your answer right here. Okay, number 8, we're going to multiply. Again, just multiplying the insides here, so I'm going to get 6 times 10 is 60. And then v to the 5th. Remember, we are adding when they are side by side. All right, so now I'm going to break down this 60. I'm going to go back to 6 and 10. Then 2 times 3 and 2 times 5. So the 2's pair up and move to the outside. So I have a 2 on the outside. On the inside, I have got the 3 and the 5 left, so 3 times 5 is 15. Now looking at your variables, you have 5 v's. So I have 1, 2 pair, so v squared on the outside, and then I have this poor little v left over on the inside because he doesn't have a buddy. And there's your final answer. Okay, next page, number 9. All right, I'm going to go ahead and multiply this together. Now remember, I'm multiplying the outside, so there's a 2, and then keeping in mind that there's technically a 1 there. So I'm going to end up with a 2 on the outside. Okay, now multiply your inside numbers together. So I'm going to put these two guys together. So 2 times 8 is 16. And then v to the 6th. 3 plus 3 is 6. Remember, we're adding. So now when you break this down, well, the square root of 16 is 4. So really this is just saying 2 times 4. And now looking at your v to the 6th, well, if you're thinking about pairing up and moving out, right, you're going to have 1, 2, 3 v's. So v to the 3rd. So now when I multiply 2 times 4, I get 8 v to the 3rd as a final answer there. Okay, number 10. I'm going to get -4. So again, multiply the outside numbers. 2 times -2 is -4. Now I'm going to go ahead and multiply the inside numbers. So I've got 2x to the 3rd times 5x squared. So I'm going to get 10x to the 5th. Now on this 10, I'm going to break down to 2 and 5, but nothing will pair up and move out. So I'm leaving that 10 alone. X to the 5th, I've got 2 pairs that are going to move out. So I have -4x squared. The 10 still hanging out there. And then I have this x right here. Okay, moving down. Okay, so this one says by substitution. So since I've got a y equals, I'm going to go ahead and take this, right, and plug it in for the y. So I have 4x plus 2 times -2x minus 1 equals -2. So now I'm going to distribute. So 4x minus 4x minus 2 equals -2. So now these x's right here are going to cancel out. So 4 minus 4 is 0. So I just have -2 equals -2. So when it's the same on both sides, that's IMS. Okay, all right, next one here. All right, so we're going to start by dropping this -1 in. So I have 2y to the 4th times, and it'll be x to the -1 and y to the -4. Now, technically, since these are side by side, I'm going to go ahead and add. Some of you guys would say, let's go ahead and drop this down. It doesn't matter which one you do first. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of shove it all together first, and then I'll move things around as needed. So when I look here, I've got a 2. Now, y to the 4th and y to the -4th, when I add those up, those actually cancel each other out. And so then I still just have x to the -1. Now, that x to the -1 does need to drop, so the 2 will stay on top, and x or x to the 1st will be on the bottom. Okay, so on this guy here, first off, I'm going to go ahead and cross out this y to the 0. We don't need that. Now, there's a couple of ways to go about this. A lot of you guys will go ahead and just drop this 2 into all these parts, and that's fabulous. So you'll get x squared, x to the -8, remember we're multiplying, y to the 6th times 2 squared, y squared, and x to the 4th. All right. So now it's just a matter of kind of cleaning things up. Some of you guys would tell me to go ahead and move this up to the top, which would be fine. We also know that 2 squared is just 4, so I've got a 4 here. On my y's, I've got y to the 6th and y squared, so that means I have 8 y's on bottom. And then as of right now, if you did move that x to the 8th up top and x squared on top, that's what you've got. And then you still have x to the 4th hanging out on bottom. Okay, so now when I go ahead and put these together, all right, that's going to give me x to the 10th. But since these are on different levels, we're going to go ahead and subtract. And when I take 10 minus 4, I get 6. And then I have more x's on top. So I've got x to the 6th on top. I've got the 4 and y to the 8th still on bottom. Okay, on this one, find product, we're going to just FOIL it out. So we're going to take and multiply and get 2n squared minus 14n minus 4n plus 28. Now combine like terms in the middle. So 2n squared minus 18n plus 28. And that's your final answer there. Okay, and on the last one here, we're going to go ahead, write it out twice. Remember, that's what this squared means right here. We're going to write it out twice and then FOIL. So we've got 8v minus 2 times 8v minus 2. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and FOIL it out and get 64v squared minus 16v minus 16v and plus 4. So now when I combine the middle there, I get 16v squared minus 32v, again combining like terms, and then plus 4. And that's going to be my final answer. All right, that concludes this answer key.